Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're at. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Happy International Women's Day. Woot woot. We're excited to share some exciting information with you today. You should see Zillow Group mortgages on your page now. So before we dive into all of our content, I want to give some logistics first. All of our recordings are available on our Lender Resource Center and the Lender Academy section. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Our contact information there is on that page as well. Mortgage webinars, if you have webinar-specific questions or suggestions for topics you want to see on our site. And then if you have any questions for our support team, mortgagesupport@zillowgroup.com. For those of you who are new to our webinars, my name is Mary Weiss, and I am the content manager here for Zillow Group Mortgages, and I also am the president of our Women's Impact Network. So I have a lot that I do for our lenders here, and I'm excited to always bring forth some training content and resources for you. If you have any questions for me directly, my contact information is on the screen as well, marywe@zillowgroup.com, and I'm happy to help wherever I can. With me today, I have Jessica. If you could introduce yourself and give us a little intro to yourself.
Yes, I'm Jessica Schwab. It's great to be here again today. And I am part of our customer support team, and we're actually based out of Lincoln, Nebraska. So we have the opportunity to work with our sales team and other staff in Seattle remotely. And we get to help all of you as well. So looking forward to the call today and giving you some great tips and advice on how to use your profile and reviews and help you take advantage of what you have available there for you.
Well, thanks for the intro. Today we have a couple of updates with our reviews platform we wanted to discuss, and we're also going to recap on the verified reviews and contacts that we talked about last month. So if you weren't able to take part of that webinar, we'll kind of recap on that, and then also talk about posting URLs, since that's kind of a hot topic this last month. So Jessica, I'll let you take it away with information and updates on reviews.
Sure. So we just had an update come out yesterday. If you've been on your reviews page within your lender profile this morning, you may have seen some new items along the right-hand side. So you're still going to see your review URL link that you can send out to copy and send out to your borrowers. You'll also see all of the reviews just like you have seen in the past. But then the great thing that we've added is a small FAQ section along that right-hand side. So we've added a couple of questions so far. We'll be adding more as time moves on. This will be really dependent on questions that we run into when we have lenders messaging us in through our email alias. And so a couple of questions that we've added so far are, can you tell me if I've received a review from a specific lender or from a specific customer, and when will that be posted? So this is one question that we get a lot because people want to know when their review is going to get posted. They see that in the pending review status, and they just would like to know how long that normally takes. So what we say is it typically takes 3 to 5 business days for those reviews to get posted. It can definitely be faster, but we just like to give you some type of time frame. And then you'll actually see that review move from pending to posted to published. And then you can also see it as returned. So those are the 3 review types that you'll see on that reviews page. The other question that we have on there that we receive a lot of questions from lenders on is, one of my previously reviews is missing now. Where did it go? And so what happens when a review is actually removed from the system is that's actually an action that's taken by the consumer themselves. They've decided to remove that review for whatever reason. Zillow doesn't have any way to bring that back. But if you know who the consumer is, feel free to reach out to them and ask them. Especially, I know a lot of people keep a really close eye on this list. So so those are a couple of things. We also wanted to give you direct access to our team and a lot of you do not know how to reach us. And so we've actually given you our email right there on that page too. You can click on it and you can just send a direct email to us as well if you have questions about reviews. Directing those questions about reviews is best directed to our team. If you're working on one of our advertising platforms, either with co-marketing or Zillow long form, your sales teams aren't actually able to provide you information about that because they don't have access to that content. So it's best for you to reach out directly to us, and that'll just speed up the process. So you don't have to wait for emails to go back and forth. You can just send an email directly to us, and we can help you figure out what's going on, maybe with a review or why it was returned. A variety of issues can be happening at that time. So feel free to email us directly, and we'll help you get your questions answered.
We do have a question from Timothy in our audience. He asked, does Zillow plan on providing more information regarding returned reviews so we can assist our clients should they need to update the review?
Sure. So the best way, this is actually something I was going to talk about, so it's perfect. So one of our best practices for reviews is if you have a borrower that has a review that's been returned, we communicate directly with the borrower by email. And if you've been on our past webinars, you may have actually learned about that in the past, but it's not something that we just advertise necessarily that's what we're doing. So if you've been on those past webinars, it's probably something that you've heard either Jared or I talk about. But so what we do is we actually send an email to that borrower immediately once the moderation team has determined that there's an issue with the review. And it could be a wide variety of issues. It could just be anything from not enough content in the review to maybe they're mentioning another company or someone else by name in your office, and that information needs to be removed. And so we send a quick email letting them know that their review has been returned, and they can simply, and why, and they can just simply click on the link right there in the review and in the email, and then they can just update their review. So it's very easy for them to do that. And if you have questions, if you know who the consumer is, who your borrower is that you're working with that had that returned review, you can just reach out to them and say, hey, Zillow should have sent you an email. Can you check your email and go in and update your review? And that's probably the easiest way to get a response. All of our reviews are technically anonymous on our site. So the consumer has the choice to maybe list their name in the screen name section, but they can make that, something that's not obviously tying them with, maybe their name. So if you know who it is, feel free to reach out to them and just ask them to edit. If not, rest assured, we're sending them an email. They are receiving that email from us.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that question. Yeah. I do want to note that if you do have any questions, you're welcome to go to that floating toolbar. There's a Q&A section where you can pop your questions, and I'm keeping an eye on that to make sure we have a chance to answer those live for you today. All right, so we wanted to talk a little bit about posting URLs. Now that might be a foreign word or phrase for a lot of people here, but Jessica, you're saying that you guys have been getting a lot of requests and concerns about how posting URLs work and how to get those set up. So let's go ahead and dive into that.
Sure. So adding a posting URL to your profile is really just a way for Zillow to communicate with your CRM that you use at your current company. Some people use a CRM, some do not, which is totally fine. But the great thing about being able to use a posting URL is for any leads that you're receiving from us, if you're on one of our advertising platforms, is it just gets dropped in there automatically, and it creates that contact for you. So who's eligible to set one up actually going to be just for people that are advertising on our platform. We really don't feel that there's a need if you're not advertising with us to have one. You'll actually be able just to see your profile contacts right in your contacts history in your lender hub. So, and you also receive an email for that as well. So if someone's reaching out to you through your profile, you'll be able to get that email and then also see that in your overview section in the contacts part. If you're needing to get set up with a profile or with a posting URL, excuse me, and you are on one of our advertising platforms, the best way to do that is actually just to reach out to the person that's actually helping you with either of those platforms. So if you're co-marketing, reach out to your co-marketing contact. If you're doing Zillow long form, reach out to your business consultant. They'll be able to help you get those set up. If you're doing both, just send an email to both of them. That is something that we have to set up in both systems. So just send an email to those people. In the event that you don't know who to send it to, feel free to send it to us, and we can get that to the appropriate person. It just speeds up the process if you send it directly to those sales associates.
I can say from our side, having been an account manager and setting these up for everyone, that it makes it so much easier if you let your sales executive or your business consultant know that you have a CRM that you wish to use. That way, when they're setting up your settings on long form, for example, they can just pop that in the same admin side. It's all in one location, so it makes it really quick and easy. And then we can test to make sure those contacts are being pushed over correctly for you before you go live on the platform. We'd hate to see you spending money and then not having those contacts go into your system, especially if you have automatic emails and things in place to reach out to those borrowers immediately. Michael, you're asking a question. I'm sorry, I'm not quite understanding who the us that keeps getting referred to. Are you talking about what, like, mortgage support? I apologize if you could clarify that. But hopefully that answers questions. And for those of you who are not familiar with CRMs or what a CRM is, it is a contact management system. We work with quite a few. If you are interested in one, you're set up on co-marketing or long form, you can reach out to your sales executive or your business consultant. They can provide some suggestions. One of them that we work with is called Big Purple Dot. I've mentioned them in past webinars as well. They actually offer quite a full range of services within their platform, which is why we talk about them all the time, and they're pretty affordable, but we're not limited to them. I think we work with about a dozen or so, if not more. So we work with quite a few. So Michael, going back to your question, I think we're just referring to the support team and anyone here at Zillow when we're referring to us. Does that sound about right, Jessica?
Yes. So if you have specific questions and you're not able to maybe reach out to your business consultant or your sales exec, if you don't have their contact information, you can always email mortgage support at Zillow.com or lender support. Either one of those works. So you can always get us at one of those email aliases, and then we can assist in getting your question to their correct person. Hopefully that helps clarify that, Michael.
For those of you who are interested in learning more about long form, you can let me know as well, and we can also get you in touch with one of our sales executives. We made some updates to the platform, including appointments and things like that. So a lot of updates are coming to that, and our sales executives are excited to talk to you if you're interested in learning more. Jimmy is asking a question here. Oftentimes, I do not get a name on the new contact. Can that field be made mandatory? That's a great question. So it sounds like that contact might be coming through maybe co-marketing. I'm not sure where the name is not coming through. Do you have any thoughts, Jess?
Jimmy, what I would recommend is if you don't mind sending a direct ticket to mortgage support at Zillow.com, and we can, or you can send it to your contact in the co-marketing team as well, and we can take a look. More than likely, they're just not putting in a name field, and you can always make the recommendation to make that mandatory. But I'm assuming that that's why, but if you just message us, we can definitely take a look and see if that's in fact what's going on your account.
All right, so let's start talking a little bit more about the verified reviews and contacts. This is something that I think we got a lot of questions on after the webinar, and we wanted to touch base on this again just to make sure there's a chance for everybody to learn what that entails. I had to switch slides, so I pulled it off for a minute. So how it works. So essentially when consumers come to Zillow.com and they fill out a contact form on your profile, or they go through long form or co-marketing, we're looking at all the details that come in from that contact. We want to know if they've been contacted by the lender that they're reaching out to. So we send an email out 45 days later asking them for a review. So then they go through moderation, which Jessica can talk a little bit more about how that process works.
So basically when someone fills out this review, they're actually going to click straight through from the email, and that is what generates the verified review. That does have to be initiated through that email in order to show up properly. So they go through the same moderation process as all of our reviews do. But the great thing about it is I think it helps potential borrowers know that it is someone that you have actually talked to. Having that verified contact showing on that review that's been written, it provides a lot more value, I believe. So people are really liking that response by having that verified there. So once the review is moderated by our moderation team, it gets posted on your profile, like Mary said, and everyone is able to see that it was a verified review.
This is what it looks like when it's on your profile. They'll say Zillow verified contact, and if someone isn't sure what that means, they can hover over it and that little black box will appear on for them to understand that. And I think we look at Amazon and other online retailers for those types of reviews, and we see that consumers and just anybody who's doing any online shopping likes to know that those reviews are not fake. A lot of people are more willing to trust a review if they can see that the information there is verified, or that even with negative reviews, it's kind of an authenticity check to make sure that they're not all fake. Having a fake review would obviously look like perfect marks all the way through. So having a bad review kind of offsets that look of having a fake review. So that's kind of the thought behind it, is we want to show consumers that they can trust the information that they're finding on our site. And that's one of the easiest ways we can do that. We pride ourselves on having all this data. So Zillow, we have a bunch of core values, and one of them is turn on the lights. So that's kind of our core value there, and turning on the lights for our buyers, who we call Beth, and then also you guys, we call Larry the lender, because we love our alliterations here. So that's one way that we turn on the lights for everyone to show that those reviews are legitimate. Timothy's asking, is there a way to turn this automated review process off? Not all simple leads get back in touch with us. I think he's referring to the profile contacts.
No, there is not. So every person that either makes a profile contact, a contact through co-marketing, or Zillow long form, they all receive this email in that 45-day mark. So I think most people will, you'll find that if someone, didn't really have much contact with you, but they had a good experience, they may or may not leave a review. So it's hard to say, there's no way to turn that off. It's an automated email that gets sent out for all three of those contact types.
And Yasmin, I think that answers your question about how to get that email sent out. Our system does it automatically after 45 days. So once the contact submits that request for more information, be it through long form, or they click that contact form on your profile, or they go through the co-marketing piece and contacting the agent. Once that information is submitted into our system, it logs it and tracks it. And then 45 days later, it automatically sends the email out to the email address that the borrower put into that contact form. So Timothy's asking, will older reviews be updated to show verified reviews for people who have left for us previously? There we go.
Timothy, on this, we're not doing that at this time. So all of it is generated through the actual email. So that is how we're going through. So we're not able to actually go back and retroactively add a verified contact for those past reviews. So from this point moving forward, that is something that you'll start seeing, and it's site-wide for all lenders. So everyone is on the same playing field at this point.
And I think this started back in December, so it's not as if this is a brand new feature. So anything beyond December, right, should already display that?
Yep, okay. That is correct.
And if the emails, well, probably from December and then 45 days out if the emails were being sent out at that point. It's probably the best way to think about it. So if you see a review from December, but it doesn't have verified, that might be why. It might be because when they posted or they got in touch with you, it was before those emails went out. All right, so a couple more questions coming in. Dick is asking, is there a reason that the review form doesn't list VA loans as a loan option? I wasn't aware that it didn't.
I know, I'm not sure either. I can definitely bring that up and see if that is something that we can add. I'm just going to make a note of that real quick, and we'll see what we can find out for you.
Yeah, our product team's pretty flexible in making sure we have all those options available. So if it's not there, we'll flag it and make sure it gets in their pipeline so that they can get that on there for you. Timothy's asking, what if they fill out a review that we send as a request and not from Zillow?
In order to be the verified review, it does have to be going through the email that we send out. So if you send out a separate review request, it will not show as a verified contact at this time.
Steve, you have an interesting question. Trulia lenders removed. Why? We still have a Zillow Group profile, which has a Zillow and Trulia profile. So if you're not seeing your profile on Trulia, might be a technical thing that we can help you with. Do you have any thoughts behind that?
Yes, that is correct. You should have your Trulia profile. There has been some issues with lender profiles. If you're experiencing something with your Trulia account, go ahead and email us. We're in the process of figuring that out for lenders, but it has to do with the ability to answer Q&As and different things like that through your Trulia account. So I know that there are some people that are having a difficult time getting logged in. So it appears that you're logged in, but you still can't access any of your information. So you might be in one of the lenders that's experiencing issues because of that bug, which we're aware of and they're working on fixing. We do not have an ETA right now for when that's going to be fixed, but the Trulia team is aware of it. If that's what you're talking about, then we should be fine. If it's something else, go ahead and email lendersupport@zillowgroup.com and let us know specifically what's going on in maybe a little bit more detail, and we can look into that for you. Steve.
Michael's asking, is there a way to manually request Zillow to send the verified review request to a buyer at a later date?
As of now, that's going out automatically. I don't know if there's a way to do it at a later date. I can definitely check on that and see. So I assume that they are sending out multiple reminder emails. So it might be something, if they don't respond at that one, I believe they are sending others out. But if it's extremely late, like 6 months or a year, I'm not sure if that's something that we can do. But I can definitely check.
I think we do send out some emails later on asking for the borrowers to leave a review.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're tied together, but we're always looking for ways to make improvements, of course, and trying to help you guys get as many reviews as possible because we know that helps you out. So, we can always check with product and make sure that they're looking into that and maybe put that on their idea map or something.
Definitely.
John's asking a question in our chat. How do you know that I was a lender on a home sale? So are you asking if we're verifying that borrower used you in that transaction? Because a review doesn't require a transaction to be closed for a borrower to leave a review. We do ask the borrower to put in an address, correct?
They actually put in a city and state. So borrowers are not required to provide any type of proof of purchase because we're not actually able to obtain any of that information because more than likely it has personal private information that would then be a privacy concern for us to obtain that. So the one way that we're trying to help you guys out is by doing this verified review. And I think that provides another level of guarantee that you're actually getting people leaving reviews that you've worked with. So we honestly don't see very many issues with people leaving reviews that didn't work with someone. So it's not something that I would be terribly concerned about. But we do not require any type of proof of purchase or anything.
And Michael, to answer your question about what email address the request is coming from, I believe it's no reply or something like that at Zillow.
Yeah, no reply at Zillow.com, I believe.
And then it will just go to whatever email address they used when they initially contacted you. How do you know the borrower information? If you're initiating a review, how do you know who the borrower is? So it's just based on what information they submit through that contact field. So if they request the information from a lender, if it's through long form, they're looking for pre-approval, for example, it's typically why people go through long form. Or if they're going through co-marketing and they submitted their information on a property request and checked the box that said they wanted lender information, or they went to your profile directly, whatever information they provide at that point is what we use to contact them with. And that's the same information that we send to you as the lender when you receive that contact. So we know the same information as you do with regards to that contact information. So Diego's asking, is that one-time link you send? So we don't send the same link out, if that's what you're asking. When a contact gets that email, they have a different link that we're able to use to track that that's a verified review. I think that's what you're asking, if that's the same link, and it's not, just because that's how we know it's a verified review and that it's coming through that system. Timothy's asking, what happens if a buyer already reviews us prior to the Zillow email being sent out? Is there a way for them to update their review?
They would be able to, they could actually leave a new review to have it come through as a verified review. And then our moderation team would then just remove the old review. So if we see that verified review come through, we're going to, the moderation team's going to take that one over the old one.
That's great to know. Yeah, having them, if you really want the verified reviews piece to show up, then and you have a borrower who's willing to do that for you, then why not? It sounds like a great service for us to be able to go in and say, okay, this review will supersede this one instead because of the verified piece. So, and that's also a great opportunity if you have a client you're working with to not only get them to leave a review, but you can also kind of tell them, hey, if you have any friends and family, it's a great way to kind of get a new conversation started, especially with the uptick in the market hopefully coming up soon. I've seen a lot more listings popping up here in Seattle because I'm in the market myself. So hoping that this will be a great season. So we are at the end of our time. I know that there's probably a lot more questions out there, and some of you might be typing right now. We do want to answer those questions for you, so please send an email to mortgagasupport@zillow.com or lender support. They're pretty much the same email. They go to the same team. We're happy to help out. If you have any questions about webinars, or again, any topic suggestions, I cannot talk today, topic suggestions you want to see in a future webinar, please let me know. Mortgage webinars at zillowgroup.com. Again, a recording of this webinar will be available tomorrow, so check out our Lender Resource Center for the link. Hope you all have an awesome day. Again, happy International Women's Day for you latecomers, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.